10 years ago, I was just a girl living in a small village called Elmridge. I was only 18, young, dreamy, and hopelessly naive. The kind of girl who believed in fairy tales and thought love could fix anything. That kind of blind hope can be dangerous, and I was about to learn that in the hardest way. There was a boy in our village, Ronan Hale. He was 23, charming, mysterious, and heartbreakingly handsome. Every girl whispered his name like a secret. And I loved him. I thought he was kind. I thought he was different. But the village had other opinions. "Stay away from Ronan," my mother warned, her voice sharp with worry. "He's trouble," my aunt said. "He looks like a storm, and storms don't bring peace." But I didn't listen. I thought I was special. I thought I could change him. I thought my love would be enough. One Saturday night, there was a dance in our village hall. My friends and I had planned for weeks what we'd wear, how we'd do our hair. But when I told my mother I wanted to go, she hesitated. "I don't like the feeling tonight," she said. "Stay home." I begged her. "Please, Mama. I'll stay with my friends. I won't leave their side." Reluctantly, she agreed, but I could see the fear in her eyes as I walked out the door. The hall was decorated with fairy lights and flowers, the music soft and slow at first. Slowly, more people arrived. And then, Ronan walked in. He wore a dark shirt, sleeves rolled up, a crooked grin on his face. When he saw me, he smiled. And that was it. My heart skipped a beat. He walked straight to me and asked, "Care to dance?" I nodded, barely breathing. We danced. And when the song ended, we danced again. His hand in mine, his breath near my ear. Everything felt like a dream. I thought, this is what love must feel like. When the party ended, Ronan leaned in and whispered, "Let's go for a drive." I hesitated. I told my mom I'd stay with my friends. "It's just a short drive," he said. "Just around the village." The stars were out, the air cool, and my heart foolish. I nodded. He opened the door to his car, an old black convertible everyone in the village recognized, and we drove off into the night. At first, we just circled around the village roads. It was peaceful, the kind of night that made you want to believe in magic. But then he took a turn. The road narrowed. The lights disappeared. The trees grew taller and thicker, hiding the sky. We stopped at a desolate, lonely spot. "Why are we here?" I asked. "Just wanted some quiet," he said, leaning toward me. And then he tried to kiss me. His hands were too fast, too rough. "Ronan, stop. I want to go home." But he didn't stop. His grip tightened. His smile vanished. "Don't be boring," he hissed. "You're not like the others, huh?" I pushed him away. "Take me home. Now." His eyes narrowed. Without a word, he opened the car door and shoved me out. The gravel scraped my palms. The cold air stung my skin. I turned around just in time to see the red taillights disappear into the night. I was alone. No phone. No help. Nothing but darkness and silence. The village was nearly 3 kilometers away, and I was wearing shoes meant for dancing, not walking on rough roads. But I walked. I walked with tears burning my eyes, with my feet bleeding and my heart shattered. I walked because I had no other choice. When I finally reached home, the lights were off. Everyone was asleep. I slipped into my room, sat on my bed, and cried harder than I ever had in my life. I had loved Ronan, and he had left me broken. The next morning I told my friends. Their faces were filled with shame and guilt. "He did the same to me," one girl whispered. "And me too," another admitted. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, shaking. "We thought you knew. Everyone knows." I didn't. But that day I learned. I changed. The pain didn't break me, it built me. I stopped dreaming of fairy tales. I started dreaming of freedom, of strength, of a life that didn't depend on anyone else's love. 2 years later, I left Elmridge and moved to the city of Glenmore. I got a job at a quiet bookstore on Maple Street. I rented a tiny apartment with peeling walls and leaky faucets. But it was mine, and I was free. Books became my friends. The rustling of pages, the smell of old paper. Those were the things that comforted me. Day by day, I started to smile again. Then one rainy Tuesday, everything changed. I was standing under a tree outside the store, waiting for the rain to ease. I had no umbrella and no plan. Just silence and drizzle. That's when I saw him. He walked toward me, tall and soft-spoken, holding a big red umbrella. His hair was damp and his coat was slightly wrinkled. But his eyes were gentle. "Need some help?" he asked. I nodded, surprised. "Thank you." He walked me all the way to the bookstore, holding the umbrella above both our heads. He introduced himself, Julian Marks, an office worker from the next block. "Can I see you again?" he asked, right before he turned to leave. I smiled. "Maybe." He came back the next day, bought a book, then another the next. Soon he started coming just to talk. About stories, about life, about dreams. He told me about his younger sister, Lena, who had a rare illness, but the strongest spirit he'd ever known. He told me he wanted to take her to see the world. I told him about my parents, how I missed them, how I grew up with silence in my chest and scars on my heart. He never flinched, never pushed, just listened. Then one day he stopped coming. I waited. A week. Then 2. No calls. No messages. Nothing. I felt the familiar sting of heartbreak again. Until one rainy evening, I saw it, a flash of red. There he was, standing outside my apartment building, holding that same red umbrella. I ran to him, my voice shaking. "Where were you?" "I had to go," he said softly. "Lena got worse. She needed me. I'm sorry I disappeared." And then, just like that, the pain began to melt. That night, we walked in the rain under the red umbrella, without saying much, but feeling everything. Years passed. Julian and I fell in love, not the fast, burning kind, but the quiet, steady kind that holds your hand through every storm. We got married in a small garden behind our house. No fancy guests. Just love. Just truth. Now I'm 30. I'm married. I'm happy. And today, as I sit here telling you my story, I am waiting for our first child. Sometimes I hear news about Ronan, that he drinks too much, that both his marriages ended in pain, that he still drives around Elmridge alone. And I don't feel hatred. I feel peace, because I know that everything I went through was meant to lead me here. To Julian, to our red umbrella, to a quiet house filled with books and laughter, to love that doesn't hurt. Sometimes, the people we think are meant for us are only lessons. And sometimes, the smallest moment, a red umbrella on a rainy day, can change your life forever. So if you're hurting right now, if someone has left you bleeding and broken on the side of your own road, remember this. You are not lost. You are becoming. And one day, when the rain falls again, maybe someone will show up, not to hurt you, but to walk with you through the storm. Just like Julian did for me. Clapperboard end. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And remember, no matter how dark it feels, your light is coming.